Now, let's get started. Today we're checking out 3 beginner mistakes that I see happen very often. But before we do that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you like this video. So, while we're about to check this out, beginners, stop doing this. First mistake number 1 from beginners, it's using the front leg the wrong way. So, for example, we train a lot the front leg, and we're always preaching about using the front leg for kicking and the base leg for actually moving yourself forward or backwards. And the mistake that we see a lot from beginners, instead of actually chambering and hopping forward onto your kick or shuffling forward onto your techniques, they are putting the front leg in the back before that starts. So from a guarding stance like this, they will do something like a step back and then step forward and kicking from there, okay? That's a huge mistake because 1, it's an extra step that just makes you slower, and 2, you are just telegraphing what you're about to do. So if I'm here, instead of just going straight forward, I'm pulling this one back, which means my opponent sees that I'm moving. So while I do this, they can always kick me. And besides that, this is a very bad position to be caught on. So if you are caught like this with your legs crossing, not even just in Taekwondo, in any combat sport, that's a bad position. That's a very vulnerable position to be caught with your legs pretty much crossed like that. That's a position where you go down to the ground right away, okay? So what you can do in order to avoid this type of step before you kick, or worse, the back leg comes in front of the front leg and you are trying to kick from there, okay? This is even worse because you are almost blocking your own kick. Like if I'm putting this leg in front of the other leg, I'm blocking my own leg, right? I can get tangled myself, which would also be kind of funny. So from here, from guarding stance, you always have to focus, and I know this is the hard part, that both legs are doing 2 different things. Each leg is doing their own thing. This one is kicking. This base leg is moving me forward, right? No matter what kick I'm doing, right? I can do roundhouse, I can do twist kick, I can do flop kick. This one is for moving forward. The other one is for kicking. You cannot use the front leg for moving forward, like stepping or anything like that, because that's just not good timing, and we talked about what that can do to you, okay? So how you can train this? You are going to focus on just chambering first, traveling from here. You can kick targets, or you can literally just move me there and kick me there. Another option that's actually a little easier, and it's from the old school sparring Taekwondo game, you are in guarding stance, and you can skip. It's way better to skip than to do that step, okay? So while you are sideways over here, I'm not turning forward at all. I'm pushing on this leg, and I'm skipping. I'm doing the skip step, and I'm just throwing any other kick. This works with almost any kick. Again, maybe not with flop kick, but the rest of them work, okay? If I'm doing skip step, twist, skip step, round, axe, I just did it, okay? So this one works with almost any type of kick. And I would say, okay, I cannot move forward with the front leg with a shuffle, or at least do skip. After you do skip, you are going to train your shuffle, and you are going to learn how to do this without crossing your legs, okay? One other thing when it comes to the skip, though, if you are in guarding stance, there's another beginner mistake. When they skip, they are bringing this leg in front of the other one, like I was saying earlier, but they are jumping too. So they think this is a good skip step. If you are here, 1, 2. Or worse, while you skip and you do that, you turn your body forward, okay? You do this type of kicking, okay? That just makes you more vulnerable, in my opinion, is not very good to do. So the main fundamental idea here is like you never want to turn yourself forward in Taekwondo sparring. You always want to spar from the guarding stance, from sideways as much as possible, okay? The only times you turn forward, and it's recommended to square up and turn forward, it's in the clinch. But otherwise, you always want to make sure you are closing all the angles. Huge mistake, and mistake number 2 that I see especially in tournaments from beginners or even from people more advanced that get a little unfocused, It's looking at the screen, looking at the score table while you spar. And of course, you have to peek at the screen here and there, but you always have to do it the smart way. So for example, we are sparring right here, and the screen, it's let's say you took such an angle that the screen is behind Miss Skyla's. So that will be fine. If I look at the screen then, I can still have it in my sight, okay? But then let's say the screen is behind me or it's to my left and I'm sparring and I'm doing this. Huge mistake. I've seen people getting knocked out because they did that. So make sure you do not look at the screen. You have different ways to check the score. And you don't have to check the score after every single exchange of kicks. You have a full round. You can see it either at the end or if you want to see it during the round, because that could help you with your strategy. You have to find a way to do it the smart way. So for example, if the screen is on my left, somewhere almost behind me, I'm gonna wait for us to spar and exchange kicks, and then here would be a good angle for me to check out the screen, maybe while I spar even, or while I clinch you, and I just see the screen in a way that where it doesn't require me to turn my head. So you know, self-defense wise and even like general rules of combat, you never give up your back. You never turn your back. You always have to have your sight on your opponent. So big mistake, looking at the screen, staring at the screen while you are not required to. Make sure that does not happen. Third beginner mistake that we want to check out today and make sure we correct, it's not using your arms enough while you land in the clinch. So let's say we spar, we land in the clinch, and I land in the clinch like this. My arms are somewhere tucked in over here, or the old school way where your arms are around. This is better though. Arms around is better because you can still control them if you know what you're doing with your arms. But make sure your arms are not tucked in and they're almost like chicken wings that you cannot use, or like T-Rex arms, right? So your arms are way longer than that, so you should be using them. So whenever you land in the clinch, you spar, you always have, with the new clinch rules, you always have to have stiff arms, like two paddles that are creating space between yourself and your opponent, because you want to kick first while you land in the clinch. On the opposite side of that, it's using your arms too much in the clinch and actually not kicking, which just gives space to, guess who? Your opponent. So let's say we spar, and I land here, and I always do this. But from here, I do not continue with any short kicks, with any crescent kicks. I just kind of push and wait. Keep in mind that the first rule of the clinch is always to try to score first, because it's such a short space, and it's whoever takes the space first is going to have a huge advantage. So you don't want to just use your arms and do nothing. And in the same time, as I was saying the first time, you don't want to just not use your arms at all, and you land somewhere over here, and they can do whatever. They can control your body, and they can put you in the position they want you to be in order for them to score. This is it for today. If you have any other beginner mistake that you want to check out, please let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next episode. W1 out.